I'm tasting the 2018 vintage of the Dragonette Rita's Crown Vineyard Chardonnay. This is from Santa Rita Hills in Santa Barbara County. So before I start tasting anything, I wanted to just say that you might notice that this bottle is dipped in wax. And basically the best way to open this is just to basically pretend like it's not there. And you can put your corkscrew right through this. So I'm also going to use a burgundy glass for this. So burgundy glasses have sort of a rounder bowl, which are great for accentuating sort of exotic, perfumed, and delicate and nuanced aromas in the glass. But if you don't have a burgundy glass, it's totally fine. You can use an all-purpose glass for this as well. So I'm really excited about sharing this because I actually know the winemaker. His name is Brandon Sparks Gillis. He's a dear friend of mine who's also in the Master of Wine program. And this is really a tiny production. You know, when you talk about kind of micro production, this is it. This is all hand harvested, handcrafted, made with real love and care from Santa Barbara. So what you might notice on the bottle itself is, well, a couple of things. First of all, Rita's Crown. So this is what we call a single vineyard wine. So it's all from a single vineyard site. And this site itself is very close to the Pacific Ocean. And why that matters is because the proximity to the ocean brings a lot of cooling influences from fog, from really strong breezes. And the impact that has in the glass is you have this combination of this beautiful sun-kissed California ripe fruit, but balanced with a freshness because those cooling influences are going to allow the acidity to remain in the grapes. So the other thing you might notice, I'm saying Santa Rita Hills, but if you look at the abbreviation, you might see in the back, it just says STA period. And this is sort of a little known piece of wine trivia, but there was a dispute between the region of Santa Rita Hills in Santa Barbara County and a wine producer in Chile that's also called Santa Rita. And in the end, the way they settled it is even though we say Santa Rita Hills out loud, if you're going to print that name on the bottle of your wine, you abbreviate it as STA. But enough about that. We should start tasting. So first of all, I'm going to really swirl this wine around, put my nose in the glass. You can see it's like sort of a beautiful golden color. That's because this was aged in oak. Oak maturation can add a little bit of a golden color to white wine. And then on the nose, there's a lot of sort of fresh citrus, kind of lemon, Meyer lemon. There's some pineapple, peach, some sort of fresh cut apple. I get a little bit of this sort of a creamy, like buttery note on the nose, and a little bit of baking spice like vanilla clove. And that's going to have come from the maturation in oak barrels. And then tasting it, if you're tasting with me, really, I encourage you to swish this all around your mouth. So don't be afraid to like make funny faces or noises because you want the wine to really touch every corner of your palate so you can enjoy it at its finest. So right off the bat, my mouth is watering, and that's that acidity that I mentioned earlier. That acidity kind of is almost like a squeeze of lemon on your palate. It refreshes your palate, makes you come back for more, and makes this wine very, very food friendly as well. I'm tasting a lot of the things I mentioned on the nose, and then sort of as a textural notice, it has sort of a breadth on the palate, while at the same time being sort of light on its feet as well, again, from that freshness. I also get a bit of that sort of butteriness on the palate, and again, that baking spice, which is going to come from the maturation that happened in French oak barrels. Overall, I think this wine is beautifully balanced. It has a long finish. I'm still tasting it, even though I enjoyed this wine several seconds ago, maybe up to a minute ago. So that's a real marker for a quality wine. And the last thing I want to mention, which is kind of cool about this site, is this. So this is an actual rock that I took from the location, and it's called diatomaceous earth. So basically it's an ancient soil made up of fossilized sea creatures. It's much like chalk. In fact, you can use this like you would chalk to, write on a chalkboard. In the winery, they'll use it to make notes for themselves on the individual barrels. And why it's sort of a large rock and it might look very heavy, it's actually really, really light. So it's sort of a fascinating little piece of this vineyard. This type of soil is very similar to like chalky soils that you might find in other regions like Jerez in Spain. And the benefit in the vineyard is it's at once both allows for good drainage of water, but holds just enough. And it actually also reflects some light back up into the vines, which can aid ripening. So I hope you've enjoyed this tasting of Dragonette Santa Rita Hills Chardonnay.